Hello my peeps, this Algebra Nation video will cover the left side of your workbook, page 81, problem square root 49.
Alright, today we're going to look at a problem about George Clooney and monkeys. Okay. George Clooney is terrified of monkeys. Who wouldn't be? When looking for a new house, George makes sure that he is nowhere near a zoo because there's way too many monkeys. His friends help him out and finds that all the zoos in LA and Los Angeles are located in the area represented by the solution of the linear inequality. 2x plus 4y is greater than negative 12. On the axis below, draw a graph and shade the area where the zoos are located in LA. So shade the area where all the monkeys are, right? Help George out. Let's do that. So in order to graph 2x plus 4y is greater than negative 12, I have to get y by itself because I have to find the slope and the y-intercept. I have to find the slope and the y-intercept to graph, right? So in order to do that, let's isolate y. Let's solve for y. Draw my line through there to keep myself neat. I want to get y by itself. The first thing we do is going to subtract 2x. Whatever I do on one side, got to do on the other side. 2x minus 2x cancels out because that's 0. We bring down our 4y. We bring down our greater sign. Notice, negative 12 minus 2x are not like terms, so we cannot combine them. We cannot say, oh, it's negative 14x. They're not like terms. So we just bring them down. Now to get y by itself, I have to divide by 4 to get rid of that multiplying by 4. Whatever I do on one side, got to do on the other side, and I'm dividing by every single term. So I'm dividing this by 4, divide this by 4. 4 divided by 4 is just 1, or 1y. I have 1y left all by itself, exactly like I wanted. Let's see what happened on the other side. Bring down my greater than. I have negative 12 divided by 4. That's negative 3. Negative 12 over 4 simplifies to negative 3. Negative 2 over 4 simplifies to negative 1 over 2. You reduce negative 2 over 4, you get 1 over 2. I bring down my x. All right, now that I solve for y, how could I look at this and figure out what's my slope, what's my y-intercept? Well, if you don't remember, you might think this looks a little bit familiar. It looks like y equals mx plus b, our slope-intercept form. If you don't remember this, this is on our reference sheet. Now, our reference sheet tells us that m is the slope, and m is always going to be next to x. It's always the coefficient of x, the number next to the x. The y-intercept, right here, is always by itself. It's the constant, the number that's all by itself. So, looking at this, the only difference is that this is a greater than sign, and that's an equal sign. That's okay, it means the same thing. So, looking at this, what's the y-intercept and what's the slope? Well, let's start with the slope. The slope is the number next to the x, the coefficient of x. So the slope is negative 1 over 2. Don't forget that negative. It's part of that 1 over 2. All right? Y-intercept is the number that's by itself, the constant. The number that's by itself is negative 3. Don't forget that negative, that minus belongs to the 3. All right, now that we know those two pieces of important information, we could graph. So check this out.
Yes, check this out. Let's take a brain break. When you take the EOC in May, don't do anything like this. Then again, you could argue that number 59 throws a better pass than Eli Manning. Ouch.
I always begin at the y-intercept. I always begin at b. So it's the y-intercept. It's where it crosses the x-axis. So I'm actually going to look, here's my, crosses the y-intercept, The y-intercept is negative 3. So it crosses my y-axis. There you go. I'm glad you caught that. Whew, okay. So it is at negative 3. So 1, 2, 3, negative 3, right here. That's where I begin. And then my slope, remember, My M tells me how to move from that beginning point. So remember, this is slope is rise over run. So my rise is -1. What does it mean to rise -1 spots? -1 units. What means to go down? 1 spot. I'm going to go down, and I'm going to run 2, +2, so I'm going to go over 2 spaces into the right. I could keep on going to create more points. Down 1 over 2. Down 1 over 2. Now that I have a few points, I could graph. Before I do that, though, remember this is an inequality. So let's look at our inequality sign. It's greater than, so you know it has to be shaded above the line. It's also just greater than. There's no greater than equal to. So you know it's a dashed line or a dotted line or a broken line. Whatever you call it, it's just a line that's not solid. Okay? So I'm going to take a piece of paper here, the edge of a piece of paper, and I'm going to use it as a ruler. I'm going to make a dashed line, a dotted line, a broken line, a not solid line. All right, here's my graph. And now it's greater than, so I know I shade above this line. So I'm going to shade everything that's above this line. And this area represents the places in LA that all have zoos and all contain monkeys. So George is not going to move there, right? Because those are scary spots. All right, today we learned about graphing inequalities in this practice problem. If you have any questions, just ask them on the wall. See you next time.